Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd, and today it's been a while since I made a video that was about an action figure. I got this box in the mail, and let's open this up and see what we got here in this here box. I got my handy dandy scissors ready. Let's just go ahead and rip this thing open and see what it is. You probably can almost guess what's in this by all the stuff in the background I have there. Hopefully I grabbed the right box. It would be funny if I grabbed the wrong box. Open! Should have cut that tape better. What could it be now? What could it be now? What could it be inside this box? Bum, 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 bum. Well, I know what it is, but you don't know what it is, but I'm sure you're guessing really quick what it is. I need my scissors that I dropped on the floor so I can cut some tape here. Ho ho ho! Ho ho ho! Little masters. Dun 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 dun. Da 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 da. There he is. So we're gonna open up this Beast Man and compare him to lots of other Beast Men that we've seen in the collection here. Now, what's funny is I couldn't find this guy. I was looking everywhere for him, so we're going to actually open him up first, just so I can have a figure to compare to, and then we'll get into this and compare him to the other figures in the line. Now, I'm not going to compare him with any Origins figures, so if you're expecting that, no Origins, just the original Beast Man and 2000X and Classics and Customs and other Masterverse that I have. All right, let's go ahead and get the camera spun around, and let's talk about this Beast Man. All right, so there he is. But like I said, it's so crazy is I have my cool custom Masterverse Beast Man here. Bom, 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 bom. Oh! And I think I might have taken my other Beast Man, tore off all of his accessories and armor and put him in a box for a future custom and got rid of the actual figure. And I'm like, what? Why did I do that? But I know I was probably doing it in order. Hang on to your battle axe there, man. I was probably doing it in order to save room, because my place here is getting jam-packed with all kinds of figures. Excuse me. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and open up this Beast Man first. Beast Man. And I've opened one of these before on video, so nothing new. I got a couple of these still in the package. Now, this particular Beast Man, one thing that I really did not like about him, just one. And it's funny, I kept buying him for this one purpose. First of all, before I jump into this too far, let go. Here, hold him up. Hold up your little brother. There we go. They got a cool box art on the back that shows him swinging from the air, and that is just so cool. And they got this cool female beast that we all wanted. I would have loved to add her to my 20 Masterverse female figures, but no, Mattel, you didn't give us to her. Ah, look at that. Look at it. Okay. That's enough screaming into the microphone for now. So, one thing that really I disliked about this Beast Man was his torso right here. And let me talk about it here in a moment. Let go. Oh, what? They got his strap wrapped around his strap. So let's go ahead and cut off this rubber band. So we can free him. Be free, Beast Man. Now, if you're wondering why he's wearing some crazy bear costume, I was wondering the same thing. They had the original Beast Man as a bear, and so this was a throwback to that original Beast Man. Now I made a custom of this bear. Let me show you my custom. Here is my custom of the bear. Beast Man bear. And I was going to actually use this body to make a Beast Man at one time, but I couldn't get this armor to fit on there. And I got like, you know what? Forget it. They got a good enough Beast Man I can use. But here is my bear Beast Man looking guy. Fun. Anyway, let's put him back because it's not about this. And let's quickly retrofit him to look like the Beast Man we know. So let's go ahead and tear off this armor with the big old fur. This time I'm not going to destroy this armor like I did last time. I'm going to keep it all intact. I think I actually have another one intact somewhere too. And let's put on this armor here. Does it fit over his head? This guy's got some really bad black wash. Look at this. Look at his back. That's just crazy. And then his front. I just cannot believe how much different. Look at this line right there. That is awful, Mattel. So I kept buying this Beast Man because I would see him in different websites and places for sale where he had orange here instead of brown for his chest. And so like, okay, so I'd buy another one, and sure enough, it would look the same, be the same yucky brown. There we go. And let's swap out his there we go. Now, of course, he does have more armor than the standard Beast Man had originally, and he has this really weird looking whip and this cool baseball bat with spikes on it. Oh, and I think this is probably one of the best Beast Mans, except for the paint job, that they've ever made. He is pretty cool. Now his leg is a little loose here. I might have caused that by ripping him out of the package. I don't know. But there he is. Very cool. And you can see him compared to my custom here. I've done a few changes. One, I painted him more orange, as you can see. I fixed the blue teeth. As you can see also right here that his teeth are blue and his teeth are white. So I did a little paint job on there. And I also painted his armor brown, painted his armor brown, and gave him the 2000X loincloth and the 2000X wristbands. And that's about it. So not a whole lot of changes, just some to make him. I also put O-rings on the inside of his legs there to make his legs not be so loose. So those legs aren't quite as loosey-goosey. So I must have had the same problem with him as well. Anyway. There we go. Now we can do some true comparisons. Now that I have all the Beast Men that I want to compare it with. So let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, there was Beast Man. So when I was a kid, I did not want Beast Man. I saw him, and I thought he was a clown. I didn't even know he was supposed to be a beast. Even though his name was Beast Man, I should have guessed that. But I just kind of looked at the box. I saw his clown-like face, and I thought, who in the world would want a stupid clown for a He-Man figure? And I have to admit, I did not see the vision of this Beast Man and how cool he could be. And so I remember what finally sold me on this figure was actually the box art. Let me see if I can find the box art. Let me pause this video for a second. Wow, that took forever. I could not find my original print, so I had to quickly print another one. So believe it or not, I've been gone for like probably 20, 25 minutes, half an hour. But I have the things, the artifacts to show you. What? Oh, here we go. First off, we got the 8-pack. The 8-pack. And you gotta admit, this Beast Man here looks so cool. Oh, he does not look like a clown here. He looks like some formidable beast that's just monstrously huge and orange and big and cool. Yes. But this was not what sold me. What sold me was the Battle Ram art on the box. And this is the art right here. And I remember going into the store. I think it was Kmart or something. I don't know. I think it was. Maybe it's Fred Meyer. It was Kmart. And going into Kmart, and every single time I'd go into the toy section and I would find this box and I would look at this and stare at it. And I didn't have the Battle Ram as a kid, so I would just focus and fixate on the stuff in the store. Oops, my camera's fallen. Stop. And the part that I'd fixate on, I actually got a bigger image of, was this right here. Beast Man with a battle axe and a shield. Ooh. I mean, look at this. We got Tila, we got Beast Man, we got this guy here with some wings that I can care less about. Then we have Man-at-Arms. And then we have Skeletor climbing into the pit. And then an unknown character, which we now know who he is. But it was just so cool. And they're all going to Castle Grayskull. The thing's being blasted off. But that Beast Man just captivated my imagination. I was just flabbergasted at how cool he looked. Now it's funny. It looks like he has boots on. Like maybe black boots with blue fur. That's funny. But he's got a battle axe and a shield. And I just thought that was so cool. You know what's funny? All this time I thought it was a shield in his hand. But it might be the wheel behind there. I can't tell. No, it's got to be a shield. There's no way that's the wheel of the other battle ram in the background. Look at that. Look at that. Even Stratos. And it's funny, they're all heading the same direction. They're all attacking Castle Grayskull at once. Because remember, a long time ago, bad guys and good guys were not totally identified. And it was just the masters of the universe. And whoever gained the castle would turn the flag around in order to show that they had possession of the castle. Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da. All right, so, whew. Long story for a short answer, and that is yes, I finally got my Beast Man, and when I got my weapons pack, I gave him the blue axe, and that way it would match his blue undies and his blue crest. There he is, blue axe. And so my Beast Man always had an axe in his hand, and in this hand he had his whip. The whip, which is funny, the weapons pack came with an extra whip, just in case yours got ruined, which mine got ruined right here on the tip. So I was glad to have that extra whip with my weapons pack. All right. Now I forgot where the heck I was going with this. I had a point to this whole entire story before I started over half an hour ago when I got up to go print this picture. Anyway, so originally I had no desire to get Beast Man, but when I saw that box art, I was sold. All right. So now we have all these Beast Man. I'm not going to go through a whole bunch and talk about every single one. But let's get this guy open now. Let's get it open now. So this is the Beast Man based on the vintage collection. So he's based on the original Beast Man. This guy right here. Him right here. And so let's bust him out of there and take a look at him. All right, let's turn the light back on. Ooh, bright light. And where are my scissors? Well, on the back of the box, we have some fun art, kind of a throwback of the 80s with the box art. Of course, it's the bald Skeletor. So why didn't they make Skeletor's hood come off when they made the vintage version? Are they going to show it in the clip art like that? And they also gave him some kind of leg bracers too, which of course we didn't have originally. But look how cool he looks in these drawings here. Very cool. All right, let's get it open. Now, I don't mind extra accessories. I actually bought him because of those cool armor on his legs. And I will explain more about that when we get into some of the customs that I have created over the centuries of making customs. Oh, we got a Cracker Jack prize. Let's get that open and see what we got for our Cracker Jack prize. Look, taped. Remember, I've been talking about this. Sometimes they're taped, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes you feel like a taped one. Sometimes you don't. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got for our Cracker Jack prizes today. Oh, we got extra hands. Which this one has that little claw thing you jig on it. The other one does not. And we got his signature whip. That is really cool looking. I like that. It looks like a mixture of this original one from the 80s, but yet it has a really cool update. Similar to the one we got with Classics, kind of. Not exactly, but closer. And it has this randomness to the whip of how it was rolled. That is really cool. Let me zoom this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. See this randomness they got in the whip? That's so cool. Where the one from Classics looks like it's a cord from some kind of audio device or something. All right. Let's get him out of there. Ooh. Oh, he is really orange. Now, see, that's kind of interesting because we've seen more of a lean towards Beast Man turning more brown ever since 2000X. So you can see the original one, orangey. It's almost the same color orange. And then we had, where is my 2000, here he goes, 2000X, which he's sporting kind of a more orangish brown than he is just orange. So you can kind of see how the colors have slightly shifted. And then when we got Classics, he was also sporting the orangey brown, not the super bright orange. So kind of interesting how that kind of held over. I've gotten so used to this orangey brown, I forgot he was so orange when he originally came out. All right, there he is. Let's talk about articulation. So we have ankle articulation. We can't tell if we got a boot cut or not. Oh, yeah, we do. We got a boot cut. We got double jointed knees. I'm not going to force him. I spent too much on eBay for this guy. We got twisty point up at the thigh. And then we got a waist turn. We have an ab crunch that's actually made really nice, so it goes with the sculpt. We have shoulder movement, bicep cut, double jointed elbow, and then we have a wrist that goes back and forth on this side, and a wrist that goes back and forth on this side, and of course his head moves as well. So there we go. There is all the movement to this guy. Now, I'm not totally digging the color they have for the bands, but I guess it makes sense. And I kind of wish the spikes were white instead of brown. I know that, well, I don't know that. I was going to say, well, I know they were white, but I guess it was 2000X that had them white. So maybe the brown makes sense. But the original toy, it was all just one color with no way to tell what color they were supposed to be. But let's look at the box art. Let's pull out the original box art and take a look. And sure enough, you can see it's just red. And his cuffs are red. All right. So he's pretty cool looking. He does have the claw arms in the back. So you're probably wondering what that's all about. If you take a look at the original figure, he's got these little claws just on that one hand, on his right hand, right there. Like he's wearing some kind of spiked thing when he punches people, but it's not on the left, just on the right, which is kind of interesting. And so they included that, and it's not part of his cuff, it's actually built into his hand. So if you wanted to remove that, the extra hand has the same kind of cuff. Now he does have the cool monster grip hands, which is always fun. And you know what? I am going to give him the monster grip on this side. Ugh. And let's take a look at that whip again. And you can put the whip in this hand, or you can slide it into the monster grip hand, probably using the little thing against the back of his hand. That way you can hold the battle axe. Which is how I always stuck mine as a kid. I always put the whip in the left and the battle axe in the right. Alright. So, I was really hoping that his leg armor would kind of match some of the other figures, but I guess it makes sense that it's red. I'm okay with that. So let's take a look and do some size comparisons to the other figures we have. So of course, next to the original, which is the same size as Origins, he's pretty huge. He's a big guy. Compared to Masterverse figures, here's my go-to Masterverse figure. He's comparable in height. And then compared to the original 2000X, he's quite a bit bigger. And compared to Classics, wow, he is quite a bit bigger. But now let's compare him to the other giant Masterverse. And he is pretty comparable to height. That's crazy. This guy's body's bigger with the hunchback, but he's pretty comparable. That's crazy. All right. Stand. So as you know, in the comic, they did show him red, so we did get a red version. Here's the red version. And it's weird because the Classics, they put the spike on this side and the open hand on this side. So it's kind of a mirror image of what the original toy was. And I never quite understood that, but okay, whatever, Mattel. Whatever, Mattel. All right, and let's compare him to my cool custom that's based on 2000X. And you can see I did go with the brighter orange on my custom, which doesn't quite match exactly, but you can see it's brighter orange than the standard brownish we've seen so many times. So let's line these up, and I'll let you guys do some voting here. Now, I'm not going to include him, but I am going to include my cool custom, the new one. I'll put the new one here in the middle. And then my other cool custom. Now this custom here, this one I made a long time ago, back when 2000X was around. And I basically took a regular Beast Man, Classics, and basically jazzed them up. I used heat shrink tubing to make the leg pieces, and then I 3D printed these pieces here. I had them sent off to a place called Shapeways. And then I just took shoulder armor, put it on his knees, and then did lots of painting, and then swapped out his loincloth with somebody else. I think it was one of the fighting foemen. And then I gave him the wrists from the 2000X and the hands from the 2000X as well. So that is my custom. So here we go. Time for you guys to vote. I know it's kind of weird being I have two customs in here, but I'm just curious. So out of these three, because these are my three contenders that I will probably use most often. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. We have the Classics custom, the Vintage Collection, and we have the Masterverse custom. So I want to know, out of those three, which one you guys like better. And while you're deciding that, I'm going to go and talk about some other figures. We had this cool giant Beast Man that we got. It's a 12-inch based on the original 80s figure. It's kind of a fun one. And I've shown this guy before. His legs kind of pop in and out. But I also gave him a battle axe and a shield to match my favorite picture. And then this one I did not design. I stole the design from somebody else with the little updates. And this was kind of a fun one. This is a He Beast Man. And He Beast. And it was one of the designers for the game from Mattel that one time. And the idea is that everyone's a He-Man. Everyone's a He-Man from a different dimension or whatever, or different multiverse. And this guy designed the He Beast. So when I designed my He Beast, I pretended like he takes place way in the future, and that's why he has a beat-up sword that used to be King He-Man's. And then I also gave him the spin blade armor because it's blue and kind of matches his blue trunks. So this is my He Beast. And then I gave him this isn't King Randor's shield. This is also spin blade He-Man shield, but I use it for my King Randor back when I was trying to get my King Randor to have his own shield. But there we go. He's not in the vote though. And then my other really cool custom. Oh, look at this guy. I'm going to tell you a story while you guys are writing down. Remember, number 1, number 2, number 3 for your vote. Okay, let's go and talk about this guy here. This guy here is kind of funny because I knew this guy, and he had this website called what was it? It was a hair club for G.I. Joe. And what it was is he'd restore G.I. Joe hair, and he was so good at it, the G.I. Joe community recognized him, and if he did the hair, it did not lose value, which is really rare to have somebody who does a restoration not lose value. And so I said, hey, can you do this green guy known as Moss Man? There's tons of people out there that have these figures from Moss Man figures that have missing fur on them. And then we were talking about it, and I was getting all excited, but I didn't have a Moss Man missing fur. I was trying to help with the He-Man community. And I said, well, for a test run, why don't you do my Beast Man for me? So I mailed him my Beast Man, and I pulled them all apart. So I had to reattach the legs and stuff later on. And he flocked them for me. And he left a bare spot in the belly, and of course a bare spot on the neck. Gave him a little ball cap too. And of course bare spots here so he can still have his articulation. And take a look at this fur. It's not just regular ordinary fur that's all orange. It's actually textured, because this is actually the hair that's used for G.I. Joe. And I had this flocked before 2000X even came out. And so I didn't know they were going with a more brown Beast Man when I made this. But it is kind of close to the browner Beast Man we all know and love now. But I remember having this made. This was like one of the most expensive figures at the time I had made. Because one, I had to pay shipping twice for it. I also had to buy the figure. This is the new commemorative one. It was a brand new commemorative figure. I pulled it right out of the box, took them apart, and mailed them off so he'd be as clean as possible. So it's not an old used figure or anything. It was a new figure. And so I got it in 2000. And then I had to pay to get it mailed back, but I also had to pay for the service too, which was a pretty spendy service. So back then, altogether, I spent like, I don't know, $170 or something on this guy by the time I got the flocking done, the shipping done, buying the figure and everything, which doesn't sound like a lot of money now, but back then that was, I did not want to tell my wife what I spent on him. But so he was my most expensive figure back then at the time. And I thought he was just so cool to have a flocked Beast Man and done professionally. And by the guy who can do G.I. Joe replacements. He's got fuzz in his flock. Fuzz in the flock. But it's just funny how textured it is. But he didn't have green. So no doing Moss Man. It's doing really cool. Alright. let's see. I think that's all the customs I have sitting out here for these. All right, it's time to look at the votes, and I will put it in the chat with who won. You know what? I'm sure I must have did a poll. So if you didn't see the poll, click the poll and hurry and vote. 1, 2, 3. Let me know which one you want, and then we'll take a look at the poll together. I can't tell you what it is on video because I'm not gonna. This video is made hours before it was released, so. Whew! What a long video for just Beast Man, Beast Man. It's just so weird. Now, when it comes to Beast Man, I like his bands to be right over his bicep. Right over the top of it. Not shoved up too high. Just right there. And you'll notice all my Beastmans but one all have their bands right on their top of their bicep. Now, I couldn't do it with this one because the flocking was so thick that I had to put them up higher. And so that kind of stunk. That the flocking added a lot of extra thickness to them. All right, well, thanks for joining me. And like they say in the 1987 movie, good journey. And thanks for joining me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.